Hey, it's Chris Loud. In this painting demo, I'm going to share an oddly satisfying loose painting prompt that is a lot of fun to paint with. You can use this for an acrylic painting or you can create mixed media art. This abstract prompt is one of my 15-minute warm-up sketchbook ideas, and I call it Sweep It Under the Rug. There are two steps to this intuitive art exercise, and both are fun and, as I said before, oddly satisfying. The first is to make a mess on the page or canvas. Play, make a mess, and use whatever colors, materials, and tools you want. The second step is to cover most of it up or sweep it under the rug. As you can see right now, I'm in the process of making that mess. I used a cork with some black paint to just kind of stamp some circles on. I'm using some drips, some black water-soluble crayons. For that matter, I'm using, I think I'm bringing some other water-soluble crayons as well. And just spend a little bit of time making some messes. Right now I'm using a toothbrush, an old toothbrush, and making some marks. Also use that toothbrush to splatter some drops on. And here I'm using a red water-soluble crayon. It's really just playing and making marks and getting some paint down. And then on this particular piece, I did a little bit of mixed media, so I'm using some Mod Podge to get some newspaper down. I have some homemade collage paper here that I'm putting on, and really just making a mess. One of the materials that I used was some paint, acrylic paint that I had peeled off. It was dried acrylic paint that I had peeled off one of my palettes, and started gluing some of that on. It's kind of a neat way to use some of that old material if you have a palette that you're able to peel the paint off of. I have one that I can and one that I can't. So when I have that, I usually peel it off and hang on to it for projects like this, or warm-ups like this. So now I'm just getting some of that dried acrylic paint down onto the page. And you can see it's just a mix of different colors that I was using with previous paintings. But as I said, the whole idea for this first part is just to make a mess, which when you're really not thinking and worried about what you're doing, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to play around like this. And again, kind of the whole point of these 15-minute warm-ups is to just play and have fun and stop overthinking. And I definitely got some good ideas doing this particular project. It's a good chance to use any old mixed media materials you have laying around that you want to use up. And so I was using a silicone paintbrush to kind of as a squeegee to get some of the air bubbles and make sure that I had glue all over the newspaper there. And like I said before, a toothbrush. I've been playing with that for some splatter marks, but started finding that really can get some interesting marks just using the toothbrush with paint on it and moving it around. So here's the part where I'm going to start sweeping it under the rug or covering up a good portion of this this mess that I've created. And I'm using two colors here. So I'm using titanium white and Prussian blue, and then on my palette I had some other colors that got mixed in a little bit, but I'm really not being very discerning with what I'm doing with my paintbrush. I'm just kind of randomly making marks and pushing paint around, holding the brush fairly loosely. I think the only brush I used was this one. I think that's a number 10 bright. Leave me a comment and let me know if you prefer more painting videos or mixed media videos or a mix of both. And same with prompt videos. Lets me know what kind of paintings to focus on for a while and what you're all interested in. And if you like this, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And at the end of the video, I'll share a couple of other prompt videos that you can watch if you want to get some more ideas. But you can see I'm leaving some of this, and I didn't really have any intention of what I was going to be leaving. I just started putting paint down, starting to cover up portions of this and just reacting and kind of going intuitively with what I was seeing and what was standing out to me. And I definitely stood back a few times, kind of stopped and looked at it. One of the tricky parts with this is obviously you need to dry the paint before you move on from the mess, and I cut that out so you didn't watch me using a hairdryer to dry the paint. But this is the painting. This is the final painting. I actually did this in a little under 15 minutes. I was having so much fun, and I'd done a previous warm-up, and I kind of went right into this one and had so much fun doing it. But I got to a point where one of the issues I run into a lot of times is knowing when to stop, so I kind of pushed myself to stop on this one. So I'll show you the final one here, a little better lighting, and I'll show you some different orientations. And here are a couple of videos that you can watch, more prompt videos if you're interested in seeing more of those. But let me know what you think, and thanks for watching, and keep on painting.